Tiny houses are cool.
Are you recording?
Yes!
Okay, yeah, they're really cool. Both of us really like the tiny house movement, and if you don't know what a tiny house is, it's a house.
Can we just acknowledge that, like, the people who are like, I love tiny houses, there's such a conversation starter. Fuck those people.
Yeah, or like those people who want to have a guest bed in a tiny house. It's like, dude, your house is by definition like under 600 square feet.
I get the guest house thing, but we never have guests because, no.
No, it's not like a guest house. It's like a guest bed in your house that is under 600 square feet. Why? You can't have another person sleeping in that house.
I mean, there's some cool ways to do it. I think it's mostly just I put a guest bedroom. Do older people have like guests all the time?
I don't know. Like, I assume they probably have guests. I think the thing is they think they have guests over more often than they actually do.
Wait, hold on. I need to draw something for Kaylin.
It's like, oh, when Christmas comes around, we'll have a guest, and I think people assume they have guests over more often than they actually do.
Fair point. But, like, why don't you just buy... I guess they're in the middle of the forest.
Usually. Why don't you just buy a tent?
That would be cool, but who the fuck wants to go in a tent?
Well, who the fuck wants to sleep in a tiny house listening to the, like, 3 people sleeping in an open house? I mean... Or they can rent a hotel room or something.
Yeah, like, seriously, guy, I guess they don't get paid much, but, like...
No, I meant the people who come to visit.
Oh, fair point.
I mean, it can't be that hard.
So I am drawing a fox girl because my friend, family person, had a rough time and she likes fox girls.
Yeah. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, but you know what the thing about tiny houses is?
Mm-hmm.
They literally all have the exact same layout.
Yeah, they kind of do. Like, a lot of people, like, copy layouts.
No, but it's, like, basically somewhat... And it's, like, there's only really one person who makes tiny houses. That's Tumbleweed. So basically what happens is people go on Tumbleweed, they pick the tiny house that they least hate, say, this one's now being made.
There's, like, a show called Tiny House Builders.
I hate that show because that...
Like, there was one where they made a room for, like, a toddler, but it was, like, 3 by 3 square feet, and all it was a bed, which, you know what, if you want to have kids and have a tiny house, first of all, let the kids put their input in.
Second of all, do not put a toddler bed as part of the freaking layout for your child, who is 5, and will outgrow it in a period of 2 years.
Yeah, like, guys... Lower your expectations. I mean, and there was never, like, they were like, I want to live in here. And it's like, excuse me? Did you...
You know what else is the problem with tiny house builders? It's like 90% of these time, these people have no, like, so they start building the tiny house, right? Like, the beginning, as soon as the show starts, they start building the tiny house. Then they start doing all the, this is the reality of living in a tiny house. Are you sure you want to do this? And it's like, what happens if the person's like, no, I can't? It's like, you can't suddenly, you know, not want a tiny house anymore. They're literally already building it. You already spent the money. You already started selling your house and getting rid of shit. If you can't live in a tiny house, you're only going to learn that after you're already building it. Who decided that?
Yeah, and there's some people who just, you know, maybe shouldn't live in a house under square 100 feet.
Yeah, for example.
Someone who has 7 kids!
Yes. It kind of bugs me, like, so I kind of just, I really like traveling, so I kind of want to live in an RV, so of course I watch a lot of videos where people live in RVs, and it's like, you would be surprised about the number of people who live in RVs that have over 3 kids. It is a surprising number. Like, I remember watching this one channel, and this person had, like, 7 kids, I don't know the exact number, and then one of them had health issues, and it's like, dude. And the reason why they lived in that house is like, well, we basically can't afford to live in a regular house.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they live somewhere is good.
Yeah. I mean...
And it's like, something I've noticed about these places is basically it's like, everyone goes outside.
Fair point. I mean, I don't know.
Basically, what you need to find is 7 beds.
I don't get room to judge, but I think, like, I don't think I get room to judge, but I think you have to think of what, you're doing first. And
Yeah.
I think, honestly, a lot of these people on these shows, like, this is a big thing. And first of all,
it's kind of the problem. Like, one of my favorite things is tiny house is essentially trash and shred. So by the time I get old enough to buy a house, everyone will be trying to sell them, but you can't sell a tiny house because everybody who wants a tiny house, part of the fun of it is customizing it and building it exactly how you want. So they're probably going to be worth the amount of money that I can probably buy them for.
yeah, because, I mean, the problem with it is, I think the people who are like, like, oh, tiny houses are so good, are like the people who have like really bad designed tiny houses, though.
I think part of the thing is, like, people who buy tiny houses because it's trendy are also the people who own a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, basically the best thing I've ever seen someone do in a tiny house on one of those tiny house shows is, like, they're like, okay, here's like $200,000 that's not going into our child's education. We want us somewhere to stay while we're camping that isn't terrible. All of us suck at camping, so we want it to be an actual house that's super amazing.
Fair point.
And it was very well done.
Yeah, like that. I don't know. I think, honestly, a lot of people like delude themselves, too, because you see...
There's like a thing where, people tend to assume, oh, if I live in a tiny house, I'll go outside more, or suddenly our family will like each other more.
And it's like, no.
No, that's
like,
not the way
a
this
house
works.
won't make you do stuff.
Like, that's one of my biggest problems with, like, people spending money. It's like, if I buy this dog, then I'll train it, or if I buy this yoga mat, then I'll do yoga. Or
Oh my god, Teresa bought that Aussie, and honestly, an Aussie is not a good... Okay, don't buy an Aussie if you're not gonna, like... Because Aussies are...
Okay.
Like, I'm okay if you buy, like, a dog who's... Aussies are super freaking active. Like, they're just giant...
Like, basically,
active dogs.
you should not at any point in time buy any sort of hoarding dog if you don't have a large backyard.
Yeah.
Like,
because
do not buy a herding dog if you live in an apartment.
they are... I mean,
If
like...
at all possible, if you buy a herding dog, you should actually have a farm. Or something you can... Like, some sort of farm.
Like, I get...
Like an acre or
Actually,
something.
while we're at this, don't drop your dog off in the middle of the country. We used to live in the country. You want to know what happens to those dogs?
We ran over one and then took it in.
Okay, yeah. But a lot of the times they die.
Yeah.
This is sad. You skip over, here. Skip to the part where it doesn't say sad. A lot of the times they die. And by a lot, I mean often. Because you guys are too, like, scared to...
put it in a shelter or something, and then it's like, oh, this dog will live on its own. It's like,
No, it won't.
Okay, especially, like, those little tiny dogs.
Especially chihuahuas and stuff. Like they get...
Dogs, they will get eaten. Like, actually physically eaten.
Yeah. Like, the neighbor... Like, when we lived out on the country, everyone knows the neighbor's dogs, and we watch out for them. The freaking chihuahua you dropped off?
That dog's dead.
Yeah.
Like, we used to play on this farm place, and there was, like, a pit bull, and, like, this pit bull, like, at one point, a pit bull near us had actually killed a 3-year-old child. You think it's not going to kill a chihuahua?
Yeah. Like, not even small dogs. Like, they just get so scared, and, like, they won't interact with people.
Or, like, say, like, even if it's a large dog, it's, like, it's dependent on the idea that food will come, and it doesn't know how to hunt.
Yeah.
And it will get used to, and if it does live, then it will never be able to really live with someone again because it will be too, not.
You have to stomach,
connecting.
The 3 minutes of a girl sneering at you over the counter when you forfeit someone, but your dog will live.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Sadness is over.
Okay, so back to tiny houses.
I like tiny houses.
Yeah.
But I get kind of mad because, they're just, they're honestly trailers.
That's kind of the thing. It's like...
They're trailers, and I
could buy a freaking trailer so much easier.
Yeah, like they're trailer houses basically.
It's not even their trailer houses, because trailer houses, like, you can't put. They're like RVs. They're literally just RVs that are much higher quality and use a lot more gas to tow.
They're trailer houses.
And to be fair, RVs usually are pretty ugly. You know what kind of annoys me?
What?
Why the hell do RVs have carpet? Or why the hell would anyone in a tiny house have carpet? It's like, no, dude. Why? Why would
It's
you need
cheaper.
No. Because it's like, dude, you need a vacuum now.
They make some pretty. Dyson makes some pretty nice vacuums.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work.
I get ya.
And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could, like, rip out the carpet, but that's just kind of a pain in the ass.
I get ya. But
I don't know. I'm glad it's a trend that exists, but I'm kind of annoyed that it's a trend that's, it's a trend that trendy people do, because trendy people don't know how to do stuff like this.
yeah, I think honestly, like,
and then there's just, like, there's this whole thing where it's like, it's a lifestyle change. It's like, yes, that's what you said when you bought those running shoes. It's like, it's a lifestyle change. You learn to live with stuff. But the problem is, a lot of times, people don't learn how to live with stuff. Rule of thumb, if you're buying a tiny house, and then you're like, oh, I'll buy a storage unit, you have missed the point.
Yeah.
You have severely missed the
Ever
point.
notice, like, the tiny house builders are like, we get so much storage, and it's like, you don't. I think storage is important, but, like, it's like they sacrifice, living space for storage, and it's like,
the purpose, like, a lot of times people think of tiny house designs as simply most storage per square foot.
yeah, and I mean, storage is important, but, like,
I don't know, sometimes it's like, you need space, and it's like, you don't. I don't know. It's like, at some point you don't need any more storage. Part of the thing is that you're paring down your belongings, so,
God, these hands look awful. I give up.
Oh, you know what another problem with trendy people in tiny houses is?
What?
Closets.
Yeah.
Like they have no idea. I'm not one for owning a lot of clothes. It always surprises me when people are like, oh my god. Like, when people actually have a closet filled with clothes that they won't get rid of.
I think it's because a lot of the times, like, clothes. Well, to be fair, most people spend more money on their clothes. We get all our clothes from Goodwill because we're fucking lazy.
Hey, I buy the most high quality t-shirts available at the comic book shop. Thank you very much.
To be fair, we have a really good Goodwill. Like, you get Ann Taylor stuff. But we buy all our clothes from Goodwill simply because it's easier.
Or occasionally the comic book shop.
Yeah, like...
And it's just...
And a lot of people buy it from, like, Ann Taylor. Remember, those clothes are, like...
Yeah, a couple... But it's like, why would you own something purely because it's expensive? Can't you resell it? It's like, owning something because it's expensive is like... eating food that tastes terrible because...
People do that.
I don't know. I don't understand why someone would own something that they don't want to wear because it's expensive. How do you even buy expensive clothing that you don't want to wear?
I think they wanted to wear it, but then they lost weight. Or they gained weight. And it's like, nope, not anymore.
Well, then, if it's really that expensive, you should either get it tailored or something. You should either get it tailored, or you should get rid of it, or...
I don't know. I think it might have been, like, the fashion at the time or something. I don't know, Madeline.
Maybe it's like, I can get keeping your wedding dress. That's about it.
I don't get keeping your wedding dress.
No, because it's like, oh, this is a memory of when I got married. I spent money I could have spent on a down payment on a house, on a dress, but instead I bought this, a dress I can only wear once and will probably never wear again. And if I ever... dress that I will only wear once, even if I get remarried, because if I get remarried, I'm going to buy a different dress.
Man, I think the whole point of weddings is to feel like a freaking princess for a day. And princesses don't care about how much dresses cost.
Then why are weddings so ungodly stressful? It's like, from what I've heard, nobody who gets married gets to even eat the food there. Why do they care?
I don't know. I think the romantic stuff.
Oh, lovey-dovey princessy.
No, I think it's like romanticized in media a lot too.
Yeah, but it's like most of the time, from what
Like this has to be the best day
Okay,
ever.
you
Like
wanna know
this
what-
can't be awful. If it's awful, it's like the worst thing ever.
You know what really just draws the line at weddings for me though?
What?
Most people who get married don't even have sex on the wedding night because it's like they're too tired. And that's just a no. Bad. Like, no, why would you do that? Why would
It's
you?
not Asian-y. Oh
Yeah.
shit! I forgot to add the tails. The tails are important.
It's just, why on earth would you ever do that? And, like, I know people spend so much money on weddings and stuff, but it's just like, I know there's like a social expectation that you have to spend a lot of money on weddings, but it's just not. Who cares?
I don't know. A bunch of people.
I mean, I can get the cake, but that's about it.
To be fair, we are rather unnormal.
We are pretty stingy.
Yeah, we're
We are planning
cheapskates.
to just give. We are planning to just give our little sister $100 and say, "Hey, go plan a wedding."
I mean, to a lot of people, weddings are more important than this.
Yeah, like a symbolism of your love, but it's like 50% of people get divorced. Who even cares anymore?
90% of... Dude, like...
And it's not good to go into a marriage broke. Like, if you go into a marriage in debt, you're just setting shit up.
It's not good to be in a marriage where you can't be broke.
It's
Oh.
not, look, it's not good to start your marriage in debt.
God, once you flip it, it becomes 10 times more awful.
And I know, like, you're supposed to be through sickness and through health, but frankly, it's not. I know it's supposed to be, like, through sickness and through health and stuff, but it's just like, why tempt fate? Why start your marriage in debt?
I don't know, Madeline. I don't know. I think people are really optimistic about it.
Yep.
I think just people are very optimistic about marriage, and then, they won't be one of the 50 that get divorced, or...
Yeah. 5% of people say they'll probably get divorced. 5% of people actually say they might get divorced once they get married.
Donald Trump. Why is, Hillary Clinton, getting so much shit for, her husband cheating on her?
This is an election. Wait, why is she getting shit for her husband cheating on her?
But, I don't know.
No, wait. She's getting shit because someone cheated on her?
Yeah.
I think she's getting shit because she stayed with him.
But Donald Trump isn't getting shit for actually freaking cheating on someone?
Cheating on his wife repeatedly.
Yeah. This isn't Asian-y at all. I don't care. This is not an Asian pattern at all.
So?
Well, it's supposed to be the thingies.
Kaylin's not Asian.
Fair point. Kaylin is a weeaboo.
Kaylin is about as white as a box of rice.
She really likes rice. She learned how to cook rice. I'm proud of her.
Isn't she like 28?
The standards are not set high.
Actually, isn't she like 30?
The standards are not set high.
How do you become 30 and not learn how do you get to 30 and not learn how to cook rice? It's rice. Boil water, put rice in pot, remove after certain time. It can't be that hard.
The standards are not set high.
How can the standards be set that low?
I don't know. Well, before she used to know how to cook popcorn chicken, and that's about it. So.
Rebecca,
Mm-hmm.
8-year-old should be able to cook rice.
I don't know how to cook rice.
Yes, you do.
I actually don't.
Yes, you do. You want to know why you know how to cook rice?
Why? It's on the back of the package.
Because I just told you how to cook rice. And because it's on the back of the package. It's just, I don't know. It kind of bugs me when people don't know how to cook. And it's like, cooking's so hard. And it's like, no, it's not. It really is not. It's like, it's messy and cooking, and some things are harder to cook than others, but it's like, this technique of cooking things is not that hard.
I think it's because, like, we romanticize it a little bit, you know?
Like, if you cook something, it should look pretty and shit.
Yeah, and I was like,
Look, as long as it doesn't taste like vomit, I'm fine.
I don't know. Meh.
Then again, there is an entire industry of people who get paid to cook for people.
Yeah. I think I'm done.
Okay. Why do you never finish drawings?
Because it takes like 3 hours.
Okay. Well, that looks okay.
Ba-da-dun,
So,
dun, dun, dun.
God in the sky, we're done and shit.
Um,
Bye.